Bethany Manctelo here. Welcome to our Millwall fan show with some new voices, but the same focus. Just everything Millwall. Enjoy!
Hello and welcome to the 24-25 series of Millwall No One Likes Us Talkings, our Millwall fan show. I'm your host, Myles Thornton, and with me are the No One Likes Us Talking team of Dave Hart, Ted Robinson and George Lampey.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
So a mixed bag of results this week. On Saturday, Josh Coleman's 81st minute goal sealed all 3 points in Hertfordshire. But in West Yorkshire, a lone goal from Lucas Jensen after 2 minutes and a stunning strike from Ayo Tanaka late on gave Leeds their first win in 3 games against Millwall this season. Ted, we'll start with you. You was at Watford. How did you think we played on Saturday?
Well, here's an old cliche of football, game of two halves, really. I don't think we were as bad as a lot of people were saying in the first half at Watford, but we certainly weren't anywhere near as good as we was in the second half, I thought. I mean, you know, we all know that goals change games and whatever, but we just seemed to put it together a bit better in the second half. I've got a feeling, Myles, that we at the moment are a team in transaction into what Alex Neil wants, and so sometimes we're good and sometimes you wonder what the hell we're doing. But, I mean, at Watford on Saturday in the sunshine, which was most welcome, I must admit, I thought overall, the whole game, it was a pretty good away performance because Watford ain't a bad side and they're up there and they're pushing for the playoffs as well. So to get all 3 points there was a terrific win. And not only that, it was 2 really good goals. You know, Casper Denour's getting a little bit of an habit of getting into the box and taking chances like that, and long may that continue. And it was probably the first time in the game that Ida Moamaku finally got to take his man on and get a cross in. What happens up the other end? We get a real good move together. It involves Joe Bryan, Bangura Williams and Tristan Kramer. A lovely cross and an absolutely fabulous finish from Josh Coleman. I thought played really well, if I'm honest, on Saturday, to get us all 3 points. So, yeah, all very welcome. And then just because I know people are moaning a bit about Lucas Jensen and last night with Leeds, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, but he pulled off an absolutely world-class save to win us all 3 points right near the death for that game, tipping it over the bar. And I think Jensen is a work in progress. I see a lot of Sarkic in him because Sarkic was a bit iffy at first and turned into the fabulous keeper that we had, whose life was unfortunately taken too soon from us. But Jensen is definitely a work in progress and getting better, I think. But all in all, wonderful day. It's always nice to take 3 points off of Watford, nice to take 3 points off of anyone. But sitting in the sunshine, I thoroughly enjoyed myself on Saturday.
Well, not so sunny last Wednesday night in Leeds. Dave, a cold night in Leeds, and just under 400 Millwall fans made the journey. What did you make of it?
Oh, well, Wednesday night, I didn't go to the game, but I watched it on TV. But when I first saw the starting lineup with the changes, I was a bit sort of lost to wonder why from Watford. Anyway, I'm not the manager, so just had to go with it. And I thought, when we kicked off, we certainly went at it quite quickly and were showing that we weren't there just to make up the numbers. And then the early goal, the own goal, it's about the 5th own goal this season, I think, that happened. And we were, facing an uphill struggle because Leeds is such an atmosphere there. It's a hard place to go to. And we've had some good nights there and we've had some bad times there. But our overall game was as good as it could be. Substitutes that were made. I mean, the injury to Honeyman and bringing Billy Mitchell on, thought Billy Mitchell wasn't really the perfect replacement for Honeyman. It is what it is, as they say. And I thought at 1-0, it was a good affair. I would have took a 1-0 defeat of that because we didn't get a thrashing like some teams get up there. And then, of course, the worldie of a goal that was their second goal, right towards the end from Tanaka. Well, what can you say? So 2-0, yeah.
Myles, can I just add in there? I was there last, and Leeds. I've said it before. I said it when they played us. They're the best team in our division. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I watched them at Portsmouth on Sunday, and how they never won the game 4-0, I do not know, because They just didn't have any luck whatsoever on Sunday. It was all saved for that first goal against us last night, because I said before the game we needed about 20 minutes where we didn't give anything away, and we give a goal away within the first 3 minutes. Like Dave said, we went at them to start with, and that was the first thing they'd done. And the trouble with that, they gained in confidence. They proved to be the side that I've always believed they are, Leeds, in the Championship, which is the best side, and they keep the ball really well. So we battled, and we battled quite well, but Leeds are a good side. There's no doubt about that.
Agreed, Ted. Agreed. I think £200 million more than Millwall's squad's worth. So I think they'll definitely be in the Premier League next season. Though a lot of people saying they'll bottle it. They're not going to do that. George, bring you in now. Femi Azeez seemed to go off with an injury. How damning is that going to be for Millwall?
Well, is that an hamstring injury? Do we know?
I don't know at this stage.
Right, okay. I thought I heard somewhere it was. I got to be honest here. I didn't really like Azeez when he first came to the club. I thought he was off the pace. No, give me a chance, Ted. Now, but I have to say that he has grown into a much better player since, he's got better and better as he's gone along. And I think particularly against these Leeds fixtures, he's been possibly our best player on the pitch against Leeds when we've played them. And I think he's going to be missed as a player. I think he brings a lot to the team, and it's going to be a disappointment, I think. Let's hope that this is a quick recovery.
I think, George, it's not so much him. I think Honeyman's more injured than Azeez. I was led to believe.
I would imagine so. But
I've got a feeling. I've got a feeling George Honeyman might be out for a while. But
I think George Honeyman was a groin, wasn't it?
I didn't actually see what happened to him. He just all of a sudden was sitting on the floor. But you can tell. Honeyman's not the sort of guy that sits down unless there's something. He's felt something really seriously gone wrong there. I know he was going for. I think he was going for a scan today. I was told at the end of it, and they think it could be quite serious. I'm saying serious like a bad tear or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think with Azeez, there may be a possibility on Saturday. It might have just been a bit of fatigue, I think, as much as anything else. But with Honeyman, I don't think we'll see him for a few weeks.
I think Azeez was already coming off at that stage anyway. I think he was already going to be knocked off when he was. I'm not sure that it was serious. Let's put it now. Let's keep our fingers crossed. But for once, George, it's been a long time, but I do agree with you. Azeez has got better as time's gone on with us, and he has become a pretty important player to us at this moment in time. But
don't start that, Ted, agreeing with me, will you?
That's the last time you hear that tonight. I'll tell you that much.
What's all that? It's a no-light exclusive, isn't it? Ted and George. Wow.
I need to get my brain scanned. I think there's something going drastically wrong with it.
Yeah, probably.
Just a comment. We were on holiday last year. We were talking to some Reading fans, and they said to us about Azeez. They said he's a confidence player, and I think when he came to us, I think the way the team was set up when he came to us, he's gained that confidence, and it's shown over the games he's played. So let's hope it continues and he comes back pretty quick.
We'll take a quick break there before we come back with our first guest and listen to Jess Tuffield and Debbie Julians, who talks to us about G&M Motors.
Hi, this is Jess Tuffield from G&M Motors. Operating from a modern and purpose-built facility in Milton Road, Gravesend, G&M Motors offers a complete range of new Honda cars and services. As well as new Hondas, we have an extensive range of used cars, including ex-Motability cars from a variety of manufacturers. Specialising in new Honda cars, G&M Motors has been retailing quality new and used vehicles to the people of Kent and South East London for over 4 decades. We have been a Honda dealership since 1972 and are the country's longest serving supplier of this renowned mark. Conveniently sited just 2 miles from the A2, 10 miles from the M25 and Dartford Crossing, visitors to our showroom are assured a warm welcome from our experienced and friendly staff. Our facilities include an on-site workshop capable of providing full vehicle servicing and repairs, as well as an extensive parts department offering genuine Honda parts and accessories. The expertise of our skilled mechanics is not limited to just Hondas, but extends to most makes and models of motor vehicles. Whatever your motoring needs, visit us at G&M Motors today. The newly extended hours of our G&M headquarters means that you can contact us from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. on Saturdays. To contact us, call us today on 01474 365 026.
Thank you, Jess. Debbie Julian's here. Don't forget to call Jess on 01474 81 3562. G&M Motors have been dear friends with the Julians family for over 4 decades now. From my dad Lenny to me, Debbie, Lions together.
Our first guest is a Lion man and boy. Born in Roehampton, he came through the youth system at Millwall before signing his first professional contract in 1993, and he made his first team debut later that year. He left Millwall to sign for Sheffield United in 1995. After Sheffield United, he went on to play for clubs such as Southend, Stevenage Borough and AFC Wimbledon. Since retiring, his coaching roles have consisted of a head of coaching role at Dorking Wanderers. He was the manager at Eastbourne Borough, and now he finds himself as a coach for the whole city under-18s. Welcome to the show, Mark Beard.
How you doing, mate? You all good, boys?
Howdy, Mark.
Hello, Mark.
How's things?
Mark, it's great to have you on the show, mate. First of all, how's it going down at Hull?
Yeah, it's going really well. It's because I was at Brighton for 6 years and then working in the academy. And what I ended up doing, I ended up leaving and trying the first team route. So I went down Stockport County assistant manager. Where I was there 6 months, ended up at Donkin for 2 years where I really enjoyed it in the senior football, and then tried it out on my own in Eastbourne Borough where it didn't really work. But then I didn't have a job for 10, 11 months, so this is my first job since that, and gone on back into the academy. So I'm working with the under-18s, and there's some fantastic kids up here, and just trying to bring some of my experience to quite a young team. I'm working alongside David Mailer, who played for Hull City in the Premier League and Sunderland, and was the Ireland captain. So he's only young in his coaching journey, but it's good to work along someone like with his playing career as well.
Hi, Mark. It's Ted here.
How's it going, Ted?
All right, Mark. Yeah, not bad, mate. That's I'm glad to hear you're back in work. That's the most important thing. Yeah. Up in Hull, do you go to Hull during any of their match days, mate? I'll tell you the reason why in a minute. What it is, one of our old Millwall players who comes on here, Tommy Wilson. I don't know if you've ever met him up there or seen him up there.
No, not yet.
Well, I've got a message for you from Tom. He said whenever you're up in there, he's one of the hospitality team. And he's always up there, and he's always happy to meet any fellow Lion. So please pop in and say hello to him. Lovely man, Tommy. He played for
next time.
He played for us in the 60s, Mark, and he was part of the team that went 59 home games without his feet. So.
Amazing. I definitely got a scene in there. I definitely will. Yeah. I'll find out what it was. But I mean, there's loads. The other day I was walking down there. I just went to the shop at 9 o'clock in the morning, get some bread, and on the way back, the Sainsbury's van drove past me once, then again, and a third time. And I thought, what's going on here? So then he pulled over and he goes, "Excuse me, mate, really weird question." But he goes, "Is your name Mark?" I went, "Yeah." He goes, "Not Mark Beard." I went, "Yeah." He was a Millwall fan. He moved up 2 years ago, and he's working as his delivery job. He got out, took photos. He can't believe it. I don't know anyone up here who's from Millwall. Now Ponting's one of the heroes. It's so funny.
But Mark, you know what it's like. You could be on a desert island somewhere, and there'd probably be a Millwall fan bump up and come up alongside you and say hello. You know what it's like. But yeah, pop in the seat, Tommy, next time you're in there, mate. Tommy Wilson, lovely fella.
100%. Yeah, I'll say that
a few times. Mark, I understand you might know a bit about. You probably know that we inherited. Well, we've signed 8 players in the January market, and I've been told that you might know about one of them, Beniki. Oh, what's his name?
Zach Sturge.
Well, Zach Sturge, yeah, was one of them, and the other one's the kid come from Brighton, Benicio.
Yeah. No, he's not one of mine. He was after me, but I've been told he's.
Oh right, sorry.
He has got great talent. Just needs to show it on a day-to-day basis. That's what I've been told about him. Just like he's just too inconsistent. But they got so many good players at Brighton. But Zach Sturge, I had him at Brighton for 4 years, and we sold him to Chelsea for like $4.5 million. So, and he's come in on loan, obviously.
Yeah.
Also, Aaron Connolly's one of mine. I had him for 4 years. So,
he's a talented boy, Mark, Aaron Connolly.
Oh, very good. And he's not playing in his right position. He's an out-and-out centre-forward, scores goals. He's ridiculous. He'd be good up front in a 2. I know he's playing wide of a 3, but he could do that. But he's just a poacher who scored goals, mate. He's one of them. And the other one, Jaff Tatango as well. He's another one we know, good long-time family friend. And Jaff, I recommended to Mill so many times, and he's such a good player. He's unbelievable.
Oh, he's a Rolls Royce in this division. He really is. Hey, Alex Neil, we started. Last night at Leeds, you brought Aaron Connolly on alongside Josh Coleman at the end. So I think maybe we might see a bit more of him there. But
that'd be good. You need a big man next to him.
Hello, Mark. It's Dave here.
Hello, Dave, mate.
This is your job, the coaching job at Hull. How did that come about? And did you have to relocate to take up that position?
Yeah, I purposely had a bit of time off, and just because it mentally destroyed me. Last job at Eastbourne, it really was tough on me and affected me and my family. So I just purposely took 3-4 months off, and then I couldn't get a job for 5-6 months. I didn't apply for many, but I was in for 2, Southampton under-21s assistant and for the whole under-18s, and they both come in within the same week. It's like a bus, isn't it? So you come at once. But I didn't get the Southampton one. They see me more as a lead coach rather than an assistant, and the whole one come up and they offered it to me straight away. So yeah, I've had to relocate. I'll get back to see my family whenever I can, but listen, mate, it's football. I've done it my whole life, and my family know what I do, and it's just, you got to go where the work is. But I just love being involved in football. And I think being around academies and developing players is one of my strengths. I must have created worth £500 million worth of talent coming out of Brighton and other teams over the last 5 years.
Yeah, it's a great CV you got there, mate.
Thank you.
Hello, Mark.
Not bad for a lion.
No. Hello, Mark. George here.
Hello,
I thought we missed your Brighton bit out at the top there, actually, when it was written down, but there you go. What was it like sort of making the transition from a player to a coach, and how did your time as a player influence your coaching style?
I always was a good learner. My dad, everyone knows my dad, Mick Beard. He was head of the academy at some point at Millwall, so he had me in coaching at Sheen Line. So when I was playing first team for Millwall 18-19, I was coaching players like Stephen Reid and a few others. I can't remember names right off the top of my head, but Stephen Reid was obviously the biggest one in the Sheen centre we had at Millwall. So I was coaching from 18 years of age, and I just loved it. And I took what I had from all the managers, all the little best bits, and then made it into my own philosophy. So, but I always knew I was going to go into coaching. It's all I know. I haven't done nothing else in my life, and it was an easy transition. But now as I've got older, I've become more about development and how to develop players, and I think that's what, if you speak to any players work with me, like they always speak highly of me because I just care about them so much and I just want them to do well. And it's all about, like, because you see a lot of coaches, they all do the same generic shit passing drills of coaching sessions, same thing. Mine's all about development and helping each individual and how it works in their team. So, and I think that's why I've done so well with developing players over the years.
You were talking about Connolly there, and being he's a tiny little guy, and he obviously all day long. Don't take away his skill as a footballer, but if he's going to play up the front, you can't just play him on his own, can you? This one man at the front, you have to adapt that a little bit, don't you?
Yeah, if you're playing him up as a centre forward, he has to play in a 4-4-2. He has to play with a Josh Coleman, because what he does, he's great at running behind. His runs are incredible. And then his runs in the box are incredible. If you're playing a 4-3-3, you can't play him up top on his own, because like this division especially, if you're going long and it's going direct and it's the hustle and bustle, he's not great at that. But if you're playing a 3, he has to play right or left. But again, that's not his strength. It's like playing Josh Coleman on a wing. You know what I mean? And it's just not going to happen. He's just got to play to his strength, and his strength is playing in a 2 up front.
Yeah, Mark, it's Ted again. I'm listening to what you're saying there, Mark. I mean, football's changed a lot over the years from the time that, certainly when I was playing. I mean, all the mud around your ankles and God knows what else is gone. So football has evolved in the terms of the different sort of fitness and tactics and overall playing style. Basically, you can play on the pitch now, where in your day as well as mine, I would say, we couldn't really play through the pitch. I think that's a fair comment at the end of the day, and that's what we have to do. I mean, I know most of the academies now, because my grandson's in Gillingham's academy, I go along there, it's all about keeping the ball, and from a young age, they seem to sort of drill that into them.
They do, yeah, and it depends on the coaches as well. Like, nothing's changed from when we played to now. It's the same aim of the game. You need to. You have to score one end and keep the ball out the other. It's the same thing. So how you do that is up to the manager and what players you get in. Like Millwall, when Joe Edwards come in with the same players that the manager before had, Neil Harris, he was trying to play out of them and go through play possession football. He didn't have the players to do that. So you've got to play. You got to be very. The football's all about recruitment. If you've got the right recruitment. And get the players that manager needs and the way he wants to play. So if Alex Neil wants to play and play around the sides, and you need quick, athletic players on the wings, you need a big, strong centre forward if you want to play a 4-4-2, and then someone to link off of him. Midfielders get up and down. The same principles apply. So that's why I say in the academy, some coaches sit and you go watch the sessions, and they're just getting things like, we see Man City doing this. Well, you ain't got Man City players, so fucking just do what you got to do as what with the players you got. You know what I mean? Have a philosophy, stick to it, and then give players a plan A, a plan B, and plan C. I see so many times where it's not working plan out. All right, don't play out then. Go long, hit it into the winger, and then see what they do. So you've got to give players different options. So all these academies are given one style of playing. Then when they get to pro level and they're asking them to do this and do that, they ain't done it. They've never been taught it. So that's what I was saying about being a good coach and one who could develop not just players but teams and styles of play and being adaptable. So I'd always coach my players that if one formation isn't working, we'd have a second one in the bag. We'd even have a third one. If it's a different press to what we worked on a Friday, then you'd have another thing in the bag that you'd worked on earlier in the season. So I think that's the good sign of being a good coach. Having different styles.
Did you not think, Mark? I always think it's about. At the end of the day, you can coach on a training pitch, but when you're out on the pitch in the game, there's decisions that they have to make out there without listening to a coach. You know what I mean? Sometimes I think teams, and I look at them and I think you're just being coached too much, and you're quite right. At the end of the day, if you all play with one style, then that one style is going to go to the side, or the winning style is going to be the side that spends the most money, the most technical players and whatever. So I totally agree with you. You've got to have a plan B and C to just do something different.
Yeah, and it just makes it more. But again, it comes down to recruitment. You need clever players. Like I've had so many players over the years where they got raw attributes, where they're powerful, pacey, quick. But then if they got a fullback who's just as quick as them and as pacey and just as physical, then they've got to mix up their game. So. And I think that's what you find with. That's why the Championship at the minute. I think anyone can beat anyone. And you've seen that we beat Leeds twice this year, but last night I think Leeds. At the beating of us, you know what I mean? Because they've lost to us twice, and they got a really good manager who's worked out a way to beat us last night, which is fair enough. Alex Neil's new into the job. I think this season is going to be the same. We're going to win a couple, lose a couple to the end of the season, which will be frustrating for Millwall. But come pre-season, when Nim and Steve get a few more of his own players in, I think we'll be a force to be reckoned with next year. Yeah, I really do.
Just moving on from that, Mark, it's Dave again. It's intriguing to know who were some of the most influential coaches and teammates that you had and how they shaped your career. What's sort of the best thing that you learned from them?
Well, growing up, obviously, I had Bruce Rioch, who's my first. He wasn't my manager, but I was an apprentice when he was there. But when I got my first pro contract, was given to me by Mick McCarthy, and what you learn from him is that you had to be at your best every day in training. You had to train as you played, and you had to be a winner. And if you wanted to be in the first team, you had to be a winner and dig people out. And that's what he ruled by. Then I played with Howard Kendall. He was incredible. Like we were just talking about a minute ago, we won everything. We literally got to the FA Cup semi-final. We got to 2 playoff finals. The man was incredible. But I cannot tell you one tactical session we ever did. We used to come in, do 5-a-sides, then he used to take us out the pub. But what he did, he got characters. We had Ian Rush, Dean Saunders, Del Hutchison, Vavs Babalkis. We had all these Don Hutchison top players that were all like legends. Gordon Cowans, Paul Parker. I could keep going forever. But we never did one tactical session. So he just taught me about the man management skills and how you handle players and the way he was. So just putting an arm around players when they needed it. And he was brilliant. And then towards the end of my career, I had Mark Stimpson at Stevenage, and he was excellent. The way that he got characters in, the right characters in, and the training, everyone run through brick walls. So little things like that, to take every little piece of the things he learned as a player, into management. And then I'm always evolving as a manager, and I think the more you get to know the players, be personal. And so many managers standoffish. I have chats with my players every single day, one-to-one, just come in, have a chat, not even about football sometimes, about what you're doing. Just like, Mrs., would you go see the cinema? Do you know what I mean? Just getting to know them. What they end up doing is they go onto that pitch because they think, well, they know that you care about them, and then at the end of the day, you create that siege mentality where we're all on the pitch together. We got coaching staff, we got players that will run through brick walls for each other, and that's how you get the best out of your players. And that's why I think the teams I've had over the years, especially in academy football and Dorking as well, like that siege mentality, we've won so much.
Yeah, so you've learned quite a lot over your time as a coach, and developed your own way of coaching. It's great to hear this. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and I mean, like, over the years I've had to adjust as well, because the days of screaming and hollering and pinning players up, you can't do it no more because they learn completely differently. If I'm being honest, a lot of the kids these days are like proper tarts, and you have a go and their lips go, and then they're not going to go on the pitch and perform for you. They're going to go on the pitch and hide. So it's the way you tell them now, and like, you just have to know each individual who you can get the best out of and who you don't. And but it's getting harder because these, like, as a player growing up, if you obviously played for Millwall, so it's a little bit different, I suppose, where everyone was a winner, and if you didn't, the fans will rip your head off. So, but you try and tell them, like, even in training, if you're losing a five-a-side game, it should mean everything to you not to lose that game. Whereas some of them just like, oh well, it's only a game. You know what I mean? I'll go on Instagram later, say, I played well today, but we win next week, and that's all a load of bollocks. So I'm trying to bash that out of them, because I don't like that side of it anymore. We want to create winners, and that's the only way you're going to become a footballer, because you're not a winner. You just go by the wayside and be forgotten about in a couple of years.
It's George again, Mark. Mark, I want to ask you a coaching question first before I ask you my last question. So the modern way of playing seems to be one forward, but that leaves a lot for one. You know, I find that like more of a defensive way of playing. If you have two, you must be putting the back line under much more pressure as a force, mustn't you?
Yeah, it depends. If you could have one up front, if you've got really athletic midfielders and athletic wingers, which are going to get on the pitch really quickly or be in a position to get to attack quick. If you're playing a low block where you've got a 4-5, you literally got a back nine and a goalkeeper and just one up top. That's very hard, because I imagine he'd do that against teams like your Leeds, where he's going to sit back and hit him on a counter. But then you need a big Josh Coleman who can hold it up and then allow the players to get out the pitch, and then a midfielder who's going to get as close to him as quickly as possible. So I imagine that's his way of playing against the top teams. But when they play the teams in and around them or below them, I reckon he'll play a different way. So you've got to play different ways, and I do agree with that. Like, for example, if I go play a Man City, we played Man City when I was at Brighton. They had Cole Palmer, they had players like unbelievably, like 3 or 4 Foden, people like, they had loads of players who had been around the first team then at 16, 17. I just went man to man. No one had ever done it. Everyone sat back. So I thought, we're going to be exciting. We was 3-0 down in the first 15 minutes, but it's only because I was given a man-to-man roles. An individual just made one slight mishap. Cole Palmer's move was incredible, and he lost Mark Leonard for 2 of the goals. But I kept at it for the game. And then what I did, we got back 3-2, then we went 3-3, and they scored last minute, but only because we stuck to the same principles. And afterwards, Man City goes, no one's ever played that way. Cole Palmer was the centre forward, but was coming back to the centre half to get the ball, and my centre half was there against him. I've never done it again, and I just, like, as a coaching point, I thought, he could do it, do you know what I mean? The players, like, they were saying to me the day before, oh my God, how are we going to do this? And I said, just do it. And like, they loved it. They come back and said, after, this is amazing. So you can do whatever. It depends on the team you're playing, the way the structure's going. That's where I think managers are good now. They know every single thing about every single player and team. They've got so many stats everywhere, and it can be overcoached. You just got to have a simplistic approach to it. With your principles, Millwall, what we're known for is power, pace, getting balls out wide, getting crosses to the box, getting the first, getting the seconds, intensity of the press. And that's all Millwall want to see, and that's what we're well known for. So I think Alex has to stick within them principles, but he'll build his own team in the summer, I reckon, with the best ones he's got around him now.
So let's get back to you now. You've had quite a career, football, playing, coaching, all these various clubs. Looking back, what was the most memorable moment of your playing career?
Mate, all day long the Millwall game against Arsenal.
How could have gone to that, George?
Yeah. Was that a bit of an unfair question, Mark?
No, but listen, I love my first ever goal against Bristol City. We was 2-0 down. I loved that. We come back, drew 2-2. I scored the equaliser. I loved goal v Sheffield United the 3 days before the Arsenal game. The Arsenal game was incredible. I mean, just like a once in a lifetime opportunity and experience that like I'm still talking about now to you guys. And then even the Chelsea, the first game and the second game. The second game, people always bring up the Arsenal game, but that second game at Chelsea at Stamford Bridge when we beat them, that's the best experience in terms of atmosphere. Even now, like talking about it, just gives me goosebumps. I always remember a time we had a corner in the extra time, second half. I went to go take it, and as I went to go take it, I went running over to the corner flag. Someone went down injured, and the fans were talking to me. And all of a sudden, I led a chant. I just went, "Come on, Millwall!" I went, "No one likes us." All of a sudden, everyone started singing, and it went all the way around the ground. All the Millwall fans, and I just things like that. Just remember the rest of life. And I just had a great time, and I just loved every moment playing for the Wall.
Great, mate.
Amazing. Mark, it's been great to have you on the show as always. Before you leave us though, we've got Ted's Prediction League. Dave will ask you to predict 3 scores from the Championship. These results will be collated at the end of the season, and then we'll know which of our guest host panel and regular reporters are the best score predictions of the season. So Dave, over to you, mate.
I'm right, Mark. These games are Ted's selections. I don't know. I'm doing it this week, so the first game I'd like to make a prediction for is our beloved Millwall versus Stoke. How do you see that game?
2-1 Millwall.
2-1 Millwall, yeah.
Coleman winner.
Yeah. The next one is 2 teams that are in the playoffs. Coventry versus Sunderland.
You know what? They're going to lose. Coventry are going to lose. Because he's been on such a run, they're going to lose. And Sunderland, I like their manager. I worked with them in the summer for a week, and I thought, they're class. Sunderland 2-1.
Right, 2-1. And the last game is the Steel City derby. Sheffield Wednesday versus Sheffield United.
Sheffield United, I hate the pig, so Sheffield United, 3-1 Sheffield.
3-1 Sheffield United.
I could have predicted that one myself and all.
Are you allowed to say that, Mark? Are you allowed to say
we hate Sheffield Wednesday. It's like West Ham. It's like if I knew West Ham were playing Scarborough, I'd say Scarborough going to win. I just cannot put myself to saying it.
Brilliant.
Thanks for coming on the show, Mark. It's been a pleasure as always.
No worries, Miles.
We look forward to you joining us back in the not too distant future.
Yeah, anytime you want, boys. Top boys. If you ever want to Tango on or Aaron, I'll give you their numbers. Or Zach
that'd be great, yeah.
All right, boys. They're great kids, honestly. They're doing it. If I ask them to do it, they do it for me.
All right. Cheers, Mark.
Yeah.
Cheers.
All right, boys. See you later. Take care.
Cheers, Mark. Cheers, mate.
We'll take a break there and hear about Bermondsey Town.
Bermondsey Town? You heard of them?
I have, but what about them?
They're a football club based in Rotherhithe and play at the St Paul Sports Ground, Salter Road. They ground share with Fisher on match days. It's where the Millwall Lionesses, Romans and Pride play on Sundays.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, if Millwall are away, I'll get along.
Check out the fixtures and details on the Bermondsey Town website.
I will give it a go.
Well, I'm your host, Myles Thornton, and with me I have the No License Talking team of Ted Robinson, Dave Hart and George Lampey. If you aren't settled with just watching Millwall in the early kick-off at the Den, why not head to watch Bermondsey Town host Langley Sports FC at St Paul Sports Ground, Salter Road, Rotherhithe on Saturday at a 2:45 kick-off. So it'll be a big dash, but you'll do it. It's a big game off the pitch, not just on. The game is being branded as the MPS Society Derby. Both teams are partners of the MPS Society. A Millwall fan and friend of the show and a friend of mine, Harvey Brown, will be at the game. Harvey gets help from the MPS Society as well as so many people with rare diseases across the country. So it's a pleasure to welcome them to the game. Now then, let's hear from Ellis Barr.
Hello, Ellis here, and I'm glad to be back talking about Millwall. I know many have watched my videos. Thanks for your support along the way. It is now time to hear what all the Millwall teams are up to. Come on, Millwall!
Come on, Millwall, indeed. Thanks as always, Ellis. Paul Loding now brings us an update from the Millwall Romans and Pride.
Hi, it's Paul Loding at the Millwall Romans with a little update for the week. Nothing to report from last weekend with no games, either Pride or Romans. No games at all this weekend. However, we are attending the Millwall Community Day on Saturday. We'll be at the front of the stadium from about 10 o'clock. So bring some change, get some freebies. I'll be handing out some bits and pieces there. And then we'll be watching Millwall stuff Stoke, hopefully. And moving on to that then, so I do think it's going to be a good day for Millwall. I'm going to say Millwall Stoke is going to be 2-0. I think Coventry Sunderland. I think Coventry might nick that 1-0. And Sheffield Wednesday Sheffield United. I think that's going to be 1-0.
Thanks as always, Paul. I reported on the Millwall Lionesses over the weekend, and here's what the Maritime Radio listeners got on Monday morning.
This is Myles Thornton reporting for Maritime Radio. The Millwall Lionesses were defeated 7-0 by Fulham in the London and South East Regional Women's League on Sunday at St Paul Sports Ground. After only 5 minutes, Kaylee Stead opened the scoring. She chased down a through ball and rounded the goalkeeper and placed the ball into the net. On 10 minutes, Stella Gandy Morgan got on the end of a cross from Kaylee Stead and fired it over the line. That made it 2. Gandy Morgan was on fire then because 3 minutes later she got her second and Fulham's third. Following a cross from Maddie Parsonson, the ball dropped in front to Gandy Morgan and she headed it into the back of the net. Things got worse for the Millwall Lionesses though, as it was 4-0 inside 20 minutes. On the 17th minute mark, Kaylee Stead got her second of the game. Lily Stevens whipped in the ball from a corner and a firm header from Stead made sure the ball found the back of the net. That was all for the first half, not the first half Millwall would have wanted. On 70 minutes, Liv McGregor put the ball into the box and Maisie Joyce's header went astray. No more action then until the 79th minute mark when Stella Gandy Morgan made it a hat-trick for herself at St Paul Sports Ground, slotting the ball into the back of the net calmly. With 5 minutes left of regular time, Alex Heyman tapped the ball in following a pass from Oliver Dale to make it 6-0. And with the game into added on time already, Fulham got their 7th and Georgia Heyman got on the score sheet. The Lionesses will now look to bounce back from that loss as they take on Haywards Heath Town next Sunday at St Paul Sports Ground, kick-off at 1:30. Myles Thornton, Maritime Radio.
Well, this Saturday, Millwall host Stoke City at the Den in what promises to be an exciting championship clash. Both teams will be eager to bounce back after mixed results, with Millwall looking to capitalise on the home advantage and climb higher in the table. Stoke, on the other hand, will be determined to find consistency and build some momentum upon that 1-0 win at home to Blackburn on Wednesday. Both sides are known for their gritty, hard-working styles, and fans can expect a competitive game. So, prediction time. Remember that you can't predict the same scores as anyone else, including Ted, when making your prediction. So, over to you, Dave.
Okay, let's get this show on the road. Let's start off with Millwall versus Stoke. Ted's gone with 2-0 home win. So, I'll ask you first, Myles. What do you predict?
I will go with 1-0 Millwall.
Okay. George?
I'll go 3-1 to the Lions.
3-1. And I'll say 2-1 to the Lions. We go to Coventry Sunderland. Ted's gone with a 1-1 draw. George, what do you predict?
I'm going to go 2-1 to Coventry. I think Coventry are quite a good side, actually.
2-1. Myles?
Yeah, Sunderland unbeaten in 3. Coventry 4 wins and 1 loss. That was against Derby. I'll go Coventry 1-0.
1-0. And I'll go with Coventry 2-0. And lastly, the Steel City Derby, Wednesday versus United. Ted's gone with a 2-1 win for Sheffield Wednesday. So I'll go first in this case. And I'll say 2-2 draw. Myles?
Yeah, I think Sheffield United are going to nick it, to be honest. I'll go 2-1 Sheffield United.
I'll see George.
I'll go 1-1.
1-1, lovely. That's it. Thank you.
So, we've also got predictions from Nick Wythe of the Millwall Facebook Sicily site. Let's hear what Nick predicts. I know he's looking forward to that pie mash in New York, Ted.
Hello, everyone. Predictions from Nick Wythe. Millwall 3, Stoke 0. Coventry 0, Sunderland 0. And Sheffield Wednesday 1, Sheffield United 1. Thanks a lot.
Thanks very much. Nick, a little bit more on that. Are you ready to take him out for his pie mashing?
Well, hold on a minute, Myles. I think, Dave, could you tell me what the league position is at the moment?
He's got to be in front, and he wouldn't say that otherwise.
To say all the names and that. Just who's top of the league at the moment?
Well, top of the league at the moment, if I can find my sheet.
For Christ, we ain't got all night.
We've got Nick on 34.
Oh.
First guest is on 33, and Ted's catching up with 31.
I think you're fine, Dave. That I've now got 37 because I've got 6 points.
Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong one.
Sacking.
I know Ted got 6 points last week.
So who's top of the table, Dave? Up to date table.
Can we just cut to the chase? Ted's top. All right, Ted's top. He wouldn't be bringing it up if he weren't.
Ted is top.
Why does Nick do his result does his readout from the toilet? Why is he away in the toilet when he does it?
Yeah, Ted's on 37 and Nick's on 34.
Ah, well.
So Ted got a massive 6 and Nick got a 0. So last weekend for Ted,
it's a marathon, not a sprint.
6.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, boys. Don't worry about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ted got a lucky 6, did he?
I was the only one in the Millwall end that didn't want Aaron Connolly to score that third goal down at Watford when he went through in the last seconds of the game. Someone said, I didn't even see what happened. Someone said, me able to keep a saved it. I went, oh, good. So I had 2-1 Millwall. So thank you, Aaron. But don't miss this week.
Well then, although, obviously George thinks Dave should be sacked, we do have to thank Dave for the results. That's hilarious as always, especially when we can't make the identical predictions. I'm glad I went first though this time round because I'm always last.
Well, I tried to move it around a little bit so I'll get a turn, but to be fair, Ted always goes first.
Right.
So,
what difference does that make, Dave?
Well, you've got a choice of all the scores.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's cheating then, really, isn't he?
He's going with the more predictable ones.
There should be a percentage. He should be cut off a percentage for that.
You got me last, who's like all the scores under the sun have completely gone, and I'm predicting the whole city or something.
It's funny how when I mention I'm top of the league, all of a sudden this all comes out, eh?
I think Ted and Dave have got to be sacked.
Anyway, we'll take a break there and hear about the Lions Food Hub from Harvey Brown.
Hi, Harvey Brown here. I am proud of the Lions Food Hub, which is jointly owned by Kelly and Ellen Webster, and they have been supporting families within our community for over 2 years on Millwall match days. If you would like to donate to them, they have a match day donation hub by the SE16 bar at Coleman Lane, end of the ground, where they accept any food or money and toiletry donations. If you can help, any donations will be received with thanks.
I'm your host, Myles Thornton, and with me I have the No One Likes Us talking team of Ted Robinson, Dave Hart and George Lampey. The Food Hub still needs donations to meet the needs of the community, so please bring financial and food donations to the Millwall Community Trust in Ballina Road outside of match days. We will listen now to Phil Coleman, who talks about his tales from the Brut Room.
Hi, Phil Coleman here again with a few tales from the Brut Room. Following reports that stated that some Watford players may have run out of energy due to lack of food as it's Ramadan, it got me thinking of nutrition and diet back in my playing days. We never had any advice about nutrition or fluids. We did our own thing. My pre-match meal was a bowl of cereal at breakfast before reserve games at 2 o'clock. And I had pie and mash in the pie and mash shop in Deptford before our evening games. Even when I was in the first team for home games, I would eat pie and mash, or at home I'd have a normal meal, whatever my mum would cook, meat and 2 veg, pork chops, chicken and chips, or whatever she served up, bless her. First team players of more experience, they had their own favourites before a game. I remember my first ever away game, sitting next to Tony Towner, the winger. We were playing Sheffield Wednesday and we stayed in the Hallam Tower Hotel. And I said to Tony Towner, what are you having for a pre-match meal? This is 12 o'clock. He said, I'm having whitebait. So I had whitebait. Can you imagine that now? I can remember before we played Crystal Palace in one game, we were staying at the Selsdon Park Hotel. and I had the best steak I've ever had. That was at 12 o'clock before the game, and it was about 10 years later before I found out it took nearly a day to digest in your stomach. I remember our striker Chris Guthrie, he had to have Dover sole before a game at the pre-match meal at 12 o'clock. Later on in my career, doctors were stepping in and nutritionists were stepping in, and they created something more beneficial. Like on Friday evening, we had pasta and chicken, or rice and vegetables, or chili con carne, different types of meals. And then a pre-match meal 3 hours before the game, it was something lighter, eggs and beans on toast, honey and jam on toast. At one club, we even had a Mars bar after the warm-up, just to replace the energy that we put into the warm-up at 2:30. One pre-match meal stands out though. We had a really good reserve team, and we reached the final of the it was either the combination or the midweek league reserve final, and we got to the final, and it was played at Peterborough Football Ground. And the club ordered for the pre-match meal steak and peaches. So we travelled to the hotel at 12 o'clock, and we sat down in the dining room, and out come the steak, and it had peaches on top. Instead of having a steak for the main and peaches for the sweet, the chef, for some reason, had looked at the order, steak and peaches, and put it all on one plate. It was probably the worst pre-match meal we've ever come across. But nowadays, your weight is monitored, the food, the calories. We've got energy gels, sports drinks. We're talking carbohydrates, proteins, rehydration, replacing energy. And it's all a science now, which seems a million miles away from steak and chips and a few pints down the Old Kent Road after a game. More tales soon. Bye for now.
Thanks very much for that, Phil. Tantalising as always. So, our second guest is a familiar voice on our show. He's the man behind the magic. It's the Millwall Community Trust CEO, Sean Daly. Evening, Sean.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening, Sean.
Evening, Sean. Evening.
Sean, it's a significant weekend for the Millwall Community Trust as Community Day returns on Saturday. Due to broadcasting schedules, an earlier start than planned means that instead of a 3 p.m. kickoff, the match against Stoke will begin at 12:30. When you was on last month, you mentioned that this would require an earlier start for Community Day. How have the Trust and its partners met with this challenge, and what does this mean for those wishing to attend?
Yeah, so bringing the game forward has caused us a few problems because we usually have like the whole morning having activities in the Lions Centre, and then move all the activities out into the stadium ready for the afternoon. But we've now got to try and fit the morning and the Lions Centre and the stadium all in at one time. But we've got no problem with it. So we're going to have some football activities going on in the Lions Centre early in the morning, kicking off around about 10 o'clock. We've got stalls in the stadium of our partners, bucket collections going on around the stadium, and then we're going to have some activities on the pitch. So we've got mascots, we've got penalty shootout, we've got some awards giving out, Guard of Honour, all different things. So all we've done is we've just condensed it into 3 hours instead of 6 hours that we usually have, but it's still going to be a great day.
Evening, Sean, it's Dave here.
Hi, Dave.
Obviously, you're planned everything for Saturday's game, and there's going to be a lot of people that may not attend as previously expected to take part in all these things that you've arranged. So given these time changes, how can people otherwise donate to the Trust?
Yeah, so there's two ways of doing it. You can go onto our website. There's a donate page on there. Also, tomorrow we're launching our annual report for last year. So we try and do it sort of like in conjunction with the Community Day. You can download that, and that'll be on all our social media channels. And in there will be a QR code where, again, you can donate to the Community Trust. So there's lots of ways of doing it. Mostly visit our website and donate via our donate page, or just download the new annual report.
Hi, Sean, it's Ted here.
Hi, Ted.
Hello, mate. Sean, player ambassadors are valuable to the Trust in meeting the community support needs. Could you highlight some of the activities the players undertake and the responses from those they engage with.
Yeah, I think it's probably our biggest asset, other than the stadium, is the players coming out and sort of endorsing your programmes. And it's worked very well. The 4 or 5 years that I've been in charge, I was very much about that. I want players to come and be involved, but to have an interest in certain programmes. So I went there and present every year to the players. I give them a list of programmes that we deliver, and then I just ask them, which ones would you be interested in doing? If you don't want to take part in them, I've got no issues. You don't have to come. And most players buy into it. They know how important the community trust is and spreading the word, etc. Like so, to have a player turn up at things like World Book Day and then to read a passage to the children from his favourite book, and then the children are going, well, he's a professional footballer, he earns a lot of money, but why is he reading? Why is he doing that? And then, he said, well, I love books and, I want to get involved in it, and it's important that, you educate yourself. So for us, it's unbelievable. It really endorses our programmes, and parents and children, when a footballer walks through the door, and then sort of like gets involved in whatever they're doing. So, we've had some great ones where, we've had Jake Cooper cooking this year. We've had other players like George Saville reading from books, Billy Mitchell going out playing football with the children and stuff like that. First of all the participants love it, to have the players turn up. But I think our players really buy into the work the Community Trust does. And because we've sort of like prepped them and said, look, we won't take you to things that you don't feel comfortable in, If you don't feel comfortable going to a school and reading a passage, we won't take you there, but we might take you to a school where you talk about your journey as a footballer. So it's really getting that sort of happy medium with the players, but it really improves and endorses our programmes.
Well, I'm sorry, Sean, I've got to come back to it. That intrigued me. You had Jake Cooper cooking?
Yes.
What was that? What happened?
Yeah, so we do a project in schools where we're trying to get children to learn how to be independent and learn how the love of cooking. But they learn about vegetables and they learn how how the foods are prepared and that. And we've got Jake Cooper to come in and do some cooking with us. So the children are cooking and he's cooking at the same time. But we've had him in programmes like Joy of Moving, and he's been dancing with the children and stuff like that. So,
well, the backup question, Sean, was obviously, was it edible at the end?
I don't know. I'd left by then.
You made your excuses and things.
Good answer. Yeah.
Wise man.
But it just shows you the players buy into what we're doing. We don't have any players. In my old role, we had players that sort of like the first question they asked you was, how long do I have to be here? Not our lot. Our lot we had to kick him out in the end. We said, look, you've only got to be here an hour and a half. But I think they really buy into the Community Trust and what we do, so which is great for us.
Sean, George here.
Hi, George.
Sean, can I have got a question for you, but I want to ask you about the Community Day. Did you think at any time about changing that once they brought the fixture forward?
No.
The earliest.
No. One of the reasons I chose the Stoke game is last year I think we had Watford, which is a great high profile game for us. But the problem is it near enough sold out. And my big thing is I want to invite as many as our participants as we can. So I wanted a game where the away team wouldn't bring so many with them. And then where we're going to put all our participants is in the lower away, underneath the away. So I've got about 800 to 1,000 people coming. I couldn't do that if it was a big game and it was a sellout.
Yes. No.
So
I understand. Yeah.
And the problem is once they change the timings, I've then got to try and find another game that hasn't been allocated to somebody else. So there's a lot of themed games, so it's very difficult for me to say, I want my community day on that. But the great thing about it, I said the other day, is that Sky are going to be there because it's going to be on. So we might get some profile around it. They might come and cover the stuff in the Lions Centre.
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah. Let me get back to my question. Your Premier Stars and Schools coordinator, Emily Paul, immensely proud when she transpired about the World Book Day. She explained that it was a wonderful experience for the children to visit the Lions Centre where they enjoyed a fun day while learning. Could you share, I know you mentioned that a little bit with Ted, can you share what that was all about, Sean?
Yeah, so Primary Stars officer, that's Emily, she goes into schools and she works with children around numeracy and literacy and really turning the national curriculum into football and sport. And World Book Day is, it's a celebration of children reading, they dress up as their characters and stuff like that. And usually we go into schools, we take the players into the schools and they might read a passage, etc. But this time we decided that instead of going into schools, why don't we bring the children to the stadium? And we got an author in called Paul Ray, who writes lots of children's books. So we brought him in, and we had about 7 schools coming in. So it's about 100 children, 80 to 100 children. They came into the stadium, and he spoke to the children around how he designs a book and how he gets the ideas and how he starts at the beginning, has a middle and has an end. And he was brilliant. He literally showed the children how you build a book. And then what the children did is they started writing their own book, but in groups. So they designed a book around a football player that's playing football for a school team. He gets picked up by an academy and goes on to become a world-class footballer and plays in the World Cup. But the children, they started writing this book, and the author showed them how to make a storyboard, and then you draw the story on it, and then convert that into a book. It's brilliant. It's a great day. It was.
Sounds good. Yeah.
And the kids got a tour of the stadium. They ate at the stadium, but we just thought it'd be something different. Get the children out and actually meet an author that does a book, and then eventually write a book yourself. And the schools are brilliant. It was a great day.
Sean, as you know, it's prediction time. Dave, I'm going to hand you over to Dave now, who's going to ask you scores from 3 games in the Championship. You know how it works. The results will be collated in at the end of the season to see who, out of our host, panel members, guests and roving reporters, are the best score predictions. Dave, fire away.
Okay, Sean, let's get this going. Your predictions have picked up recently, so let's hope that improves a bit more so you can get up with the top of the table. So we go first of all with the game.
I hope it don't. Sorry, Dave. I hope it don't. Seeing on top of the table. Sorry, Sean. Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
Okay, Millwall versus Stoke, Sean.
So the great thing is, last 4 years we've never lost on Community Day. I've never lost, so I think we'll win 1-0.
Lovely, 1-0. Yeah. The next one is 2 teams that are in the playoffs: Coventry versus Sunderland.
A draw, 2-2.
2-2, Desmond, yeah. And lastly, the Steel City draw, Wednesday versus United.
I think away win. I think Sheffield United will beat them 2-0.
2-0, lovely. Okay, Sean, let's see that. What happens?
Amazing. Sean, thank you very much for joining us. Yeah, it's always great to have you on the show, mate. And hopefully it all goes well for you on Saturday.
No, thank you very much for all your support, and see you on Saturday.
Yeah, you will do, Sean.
Yeah, good night, everyone.
Good
night.
night.
Cheers, Sean. Thanks, mate.
So, staying on topic with the Millwall Community Trust, let's listen to Bethany Manctelo, who speaks to us about how you can support the Trust away from Community Day.
The Millwall Community Trust is something that I, Bethany Manctelo, admire for all that it does. The Trust was established in 1985 to provide sporting, educational, social and healthy lifestyle opportunities to the local community in Southwark, Lewisham, North Kent and the wider community. Its work is targeted at people of all ages, irrespective of race, gender or sexual orientation, and runs programmes aimed at tackling social exclusion, racism, knife crime, lack of employment opportunities for young people, mental health and disability. The Trust aims to be a progressive and campaigning charity that makes a difference to ordinary people's lives. Its work is undeniably essential to the local community. Donating to the Millwall Community Trust is easy. Visit their website and click on the Get Involved section. There are also sponsorship opportunities. To support this work, email commercial@millwallcommunity.org.uk. I'll say that again. That's commercial@millwallcommunity.org.uk. If you can, please help them to continue their vital work.
I'm your host, Myles Thornton, and with me are the No One Likes Us talking team of George Lampey, Dave Hart and Ted Robertson. If you can help to support and donate to the Millwall Community Trust, as you heard by Sean, it will be greatly appreciated, and it will just contribute to the amazing work that they do. We're all looking forward to the next game, but in the meantime, here are a few matters of interest for Millwall fans and those interested in football.
There will be no show next week due to the international break, but the show will return the week after with your host, Eamon Barkley, along with panellists Gary Staff, Dave Hart and Steve Warren.
As you've just heard from our second guest, Sean Daly, it's Community Day on Saturday. In the build-up to the game, the Trust will use the Lions Centre and the Den's main car park to showcase parts of the work they do, whilst in the Lions Centre, Millwall Community Trust activities will be taking place, such as football sessions and Zampa's Family Fun Zone. Participants of Millwall Community Trust programmes will work alongside volunteers from other projects to drive a stadium-wide bucket collection to raise funds for the charity. The SE16 bus stop bandstand will see a DJ playing before the game, whilst Millwall Community Trust swim bags, lanyards and more will be given out around the stadium. The community action will continue on the pitch as the players will warm up in a special Community Day t-shirts, and awards are presented pre-match to community champions. A guard of honour will welcome the two teams out of the tunnel before kick-off, with further action taking place at half-time as numerous MCT teams will walk around the pitch.
Can I just say this is lovely because Ted's got a small piece, I've got a small piece, and Dave's got a bit about like War and Peace, right in the middle. It's lovely. Millwall Lionesses will host Haywards Heath Town at St Paul's Sports Ground on Sunday. Why not head down to Rotherhithe and roar the Lions on? Just like Bermondsey Town, it's free entry, and if it's free entry, then Ted is bound to be there.
Oh, dear. I have retired now, George. You know that, don't you? I can't afford
That's right, I mean, no.
You can listen to the No One Likes Us talking team, bring reports from our games, both home and away, for the Lions, Lionesses, Romans and Pride. You'll also receive updates on Millwall Community Matters on Maritime Radio, broadcasting on 96.5 FM, or via their website. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, YouTube, Tumblr, and all popular podcast sites. Thank you very much. That's it from me, George. Thank you very much, George.
Good night, Myles.
And thank you very much, Dave.
Good night, Myles. Good night, everyone.
And last but not least, good night, Ted.
Cheers, Myles, and good riddance to George. Thank you very much.
Good night, everyone. Make sure to keep it safe on the streets out there.
Show is sponsored by G&M Motors of Gravesend, Honda dealers and much more. Thank you.